Hello, everybody. So today the government went ahead and sent out one of their notices that they would like to see all employers aiming for 100% telecommuting. And so I'm going to go ahead and address some of my favorite workflow kind of tricks and tips that I use and that I often tell to people even internal to my companies on because my companies are all distributed workforce, always kind of have been. So let's just go ahead and dive into how do you work with Microsoft Tenant and do it efficiently and do it very well. So you can see on my page here, I've got open Outlook, and Outlook. One of the more interesting features is that it does have the calendar, and that's great because the calendar will integrate with all the other products. So here, we're on Wednesday. I've got it selected that I'm going to do a Teams video. Really, really good idea when you're working from home is to go ahead and, so we've got Qingming Jie coming up here, but if I wanted to say, set a specific time every day that I just don't want to be distracted or disrupted, that I know I need to work on my most important task of the week, then just go ahead and, create a most important task. And don't set it for all day, but set it for, your morning, because typically most of us, we're just at our best in the morning. So give yourself an hour or two. Let's just set it as 2 hours, 2 hour power. Well, we would call it a power hour, but really it's 2 hours here. And you can even make it recurring. You can say, I want to do this every day. So let's just do it daily. And we can do it every weekday, which Monday through Friday. And we can just say that we want to do it forever, just because. So we can make sure that it shows us as busy or tentative or out of the office or whatever. But busy is a good one because I'll show you later. It will show up in Teams that people shouldn't try to schedule meetings and stuff during that particular time. Tell it to save. It's all going to show up. Now you've got a 9 o'clock important thing. I like to set mine up with lunch so that people don't try to set up meetings with me right when I want to eat or do things like that. Just because I find that happens quite a bit. So make use of your calendar first and foremost. Let's jump on over into Teams. And you can see I've got Teams open here. Teams is really one of the main hubs that I work from every day. And the more you work with it, the more you really start to love it. Here I've been talking to David. We were actually talking about how to use Planner. I was showing him a few tips and tricks on how to use it. And I'll share those with you as well here. But the first thing you can work with is just chats. Jump into a chat with somebody. You can click chat and then just go ahead and you can even just search for the person you want to talk to. Like I can talk to Sishan here, my wife and one of the other directors, and I can just drop in a message and say hi. So that's kind of how you would start off things. You can throw in emojis, GIFs, all that stuff that you could usually do in a team. You can do that. You can also invite other people to these as well by just clicking on the add people. So I could actually add in David as well. And so now I've got more of a chat that's a little bit of a group. So you can do those kind of chats that are a little bit more kind of a transient one, not one that you're necessarily looking to keep long term. The next thing down that you have is Teams. And a team can really be anything. A team can be a service that you usually do. A team can be, a project that you're planning on doing. Teams can be all kinds of things. So I've got a few projects that are going on. Some of these have to do with my social enterprises. Some of these have to do with the IT business. So, Hearts and Hands is one of our social enterprises. So, we've been having a discussion about product development, what to make the products out of, what's working, what's not. So you can actually go in, you can have discussions, you can throw pictures in there, you can throw whatever, and whoever's in the group can access that stuff. I like to add a what we call Planner into most of the groups most of the teams that I'm in, because Planner lets you set up one of these Kanban style project management kind of things. So I can create buckets for things like right here. We're talking about, product development and things like that. I've got other ones that we've been talking about. Jump into this planner here. We've got other ones that we've been talking about, some of the marketing that we need to do now that China is starting to open up the businesses again. So our social enterprises up there are now starting to get to a point where they need to go back into the marketing. And what's nice is you can add, new buckets if you have a new type of thing. You can add new tasks. Like I said, you can actually do more project types of things where this is very strictly a project. I can add, I've asked one of the staff to do some follow-up. I probably need to check on the graphic design stuff here, so I'm going to do graphic design. I'm going to give myself a due date. Let's give myself Friday of next week, and I can assign whoever I want. So right here, I've got some of my more usual people that I assign. I'm going to assign myself, and I'm going to add the task. And you can actually jump in and you can get a little more specific on this task. You can add bullet points, things like that. Now, it can be easy if you've got a lot of teams and you've got planner things happening in a lot of teams to get a little bit lost. So one trick I like to use is I use the Microsoft To-Do app. And this is the To-Do app. And as you can see, it actually will synchronize with Planner. So these assigned to you things from Planner will pop up. So I just added one for check graphic design. It shows up. It knows what I'm doing. I can actually jump into it strictly in Planner straight from here if I wanted to. And I find that really helpful in keeping track of things. It'll also track like your flagged emails. It'll track other things that you've scheduled for yourself. So if you jump onto Microsoft To-Do, use your Microsoft Office business email address, and it'll synchronize the whole thing up for you in To-Do, and it makes your life quite a bit easier when you've got a lot of things going on. So those are the teams. Jump into Teams, work with those. One of the coolest things about Teams, real quick, is most of them by default come with files, and behind the scenes is a SharePoint thing, but you don't have to know that. The cool thing is they recently added the sync directly into Teams, and I love that it does this, and I'll show you how it works. You just click on sync. It's going to tell you that it's getting ready to sync, and then Microsoft OneDrive will actually sync it for you. And so now, if I jump over here, let's see, I just added one called YNQ COVID Marketing Campaigns. So now I've got it right inside, synced to my desktop. I can work on it just directly from here if I wanted to. Other people that are inside the team are going to be able to share and work on those files as well. So if you have things that you want to work with other people on, fire up a team. You can create a new team, and I'll show you how to do that real quick here, because it's very fast to create a new team. Throw your files in there, chat with other people. Teams is really a great place to hub your work from. Let's just create a new file just so we can see just a basic text document. Shouldn't add that in there. Okay, so we'll just do hi.text. That's there. And we will see it show up here in a second, because as long as it is synchronized, and as a lot of you are familiar with, once it's the little green check, that usually means that it's synced up. And this one should show up here. If it doesn't show up, sometimes I just pop in and out, and then it'll show up again. So there we have hi.txt. If it's a native Microsoft type of document, you actually can work on them directly in here as well. So you could click on them. You can work on Word docs. You can work on text docs. So you can actually jump straight in and do quick edits and stuff like that if you wanted to do really quick edits. For some reason, this one's not letting me, but it does do it on Word documents. Okay, so if you want to talk to people, you just talk to people right in the posts. You can reply to people directly. You can, tell them you think that what they said was cool, whatever. These are all things that you can do. If you want to create a new team, you just click on here, join or create the team. Let's say you're a church and you decided you want to have a team just for your worship type stuff. Just jump in, say create the team, build your new team from scratch. Tell it whether you want it to be public or private. With like a worship team, it'd probably fine to be public. And then, you just name it. And then you just tell it to create. And then it'll ask you who you want to invite to join. And then just tell it who you want to invite, and it will create your team. And then you can work from there. From there, you can add different types of apps if you wanted to. You just click on the plus key. There's a whole bunch of things. The main one that I like to add is just Planner. Planner is very helpful to add stuff. Some people add OneNote, or forms can be very useful if you have something that you do a lot and you want to have a form to kind of feed data into something. If you're going to do that, it's probably a good idea to just go ahead and call us, because we can walk you through some of that and help you build some of that out, because it can get a little tricky. But Planner, easy peasy. You can actually add a website. So if there's like a website you use a lot, you can embed a website into these. So that's something that you can do. Let's jump ahead just a little bit here to the calendar. And what the calendar here in Teams is, it's a bit of a misnomer. It's not really a calendar per se, so much as it's a scheduling of meetings system. So you can just jump into a meeting right now. You could say meet now, and you could start a meeting and join it and do all that fun stuff. And then you can invite people, or you can schedule new meetings or live events. Live events actually will let you invite, I think, 250 people to come and watch like a webinar or kind of a live cast. So you can live cast things to around 250 people. You can schedule meetings, which is real handy. So, give your meeting a title like My Cool Meeting. And you can invite the people that you want to invite. If you know who you're inviting, you should know who you're inviting. So I regularly meet with David because we both work on a lot of the leadership stuff in like our social enterprises. So we can set the date. Today is April 1st, but let's meet on Tuesday, because I know that he'll be back from work. He likes to meet in the mornings, so we can set this at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we can go till 11. It might actually end up showing that we're busy or something like that at that point, which would be it actually should show if I'm busy or not. It will show if people can join a meeting or not. Like you can actually, if people do have things like that. One other cool thing you can do is you can just add a whole channel. So if you just wanted everybody from a particular channel to join your meeting, you can say, hey, I want everybody from that's working with the deaf and disabled in our social enterprise, which is Hearts and Hands here. So I want everybody from our main Hearts and Hands team to come to a meeting and discuss new products design. And then when we click send, it would go ahead and create a new one. I'm going to try not to pester these guys by doing this though. So, and I don't want to pester these guys either because I want them to be able to work. Okay. So when I create it, it will create a new one. And as you can see, I'm actually double booked. So, because I've created that most important task thing and the My Cool meeting. Again, it will show up as well on our calendar here in Outlook. So we've got the Outlook calendar showing up here as well. And when it actually gives you an alert that your meeting is going to start, you can actually just click directly to join meeting. It'll give you a prompt that says, gives you a notice that, hey, you've got a meeting in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is. And then you can actually just click to join. And it'll join you straight in through Teams, which is really, really handy. People love that feature. So that is kind of the meeting part. You can't see calls and things, call history that's come through. If you are on a VoIP plan with Microsoft, you can actually use this as a full-fledged kind of phone system. So no matter where you are, if you're using the voice plans from Microsoft, you can use it like it is your office phone. And no matter where you are, it will be able to answer and talk and do things like that. But otherwise, some of your contacts, if you contact them regularly, there's a lot of these video or voice calls that you can do. You can directly call them as well from your chat. So if you were talking to somebody, you can just directly up in the corner use the video call or the audio call. You can share your screens as well when you do those. So you can share your main screen, primary screen. You can share just the app. A lot of options that you can do. The only at the moment, the only real restriction is you can only see 4 people that are kind of talking the most at a time. When you jump into files, you can see a lot of your files that you've been working on, things that you've been doing. You can add other cloud storages as well. Like if you had stuff that you were dragging over from Google Drive or things like that, I advise not to use that stuff, just because if you end up saving things in other places, you can get yourself into some PDPA trouble, and you just don't want to end up in PDPA trouble. It's better to just save everything you can right inside your Microsoft tenant, because if you ever did get accused of a breach and they see that you are saving stuff outside of your specific business tenant and account, it's not going to go well for you. The PDPC is just going to smash down on that. You do have your other apps available. Stream is pretty cool. That is actually like a video kind of platform. It's kind of like an internal YouTube. You can save stuff there. Shifts, if you have people that need to do shifts, you can actually jump in and set shifts. I don't use this much, but you can actually create schedules for your teams and stuff like that. That's probably, if we were still doing A team, B team type of stuff in Singapore, that would be pretty useful, because you could kind of schedule who's on what shift basically on the A team, B team. But right now, since the government's really stressing that you need to telecommute everybody, it won't probably be as useful to you. The main other one is just Planner. Working with Planner is great, because you can see like all your tasks that you need to be working on. I think I've got a lot of stuff I should be doing but haven't completed as much stuff at the moment. At the top, you do have an activity kind of thing where you can kind of see what's been going on, what you've been working on. So that's kind of Teams in a nutshell. It's a fantastic place to kind of hub and do a lot of your work from, especially when you're going to work with a lot of people that are just remote and that you can't necessarily see face to face. Real helpful that you're able to just jump on a quick face-to-face call with people and just say, hey, I'm working on this thing. Can you work on it too? And actually, sometimes what we do is we'll start in on a call, and then all of a sudden we'll say, hey, can we start working on this file? And the next thing you know, we've got the file open in Teams, and we've got the face-to-face call going, and we're both editing the same file, document or something, and just checking it over and saying, hey, let's make a tweak here, make a tweak there. And you can see both cursors kind of going around and doing the things that need to be done, and it's really powerful. So it's a great thing to use. So that's basically the Teams stuff to use. Real quick, let me just show you guys the company portal is a real helpful thing if you end up working from home. If you go to your Microsoft store or the Mac OS store, I can't remember what the Mac store is called. I think it's just the Apple store. If you jump in there, you'll find that Microsoft has something called the company portal. If you install it and then go ahead and launch it, what you'll see is a company portal kind of comes up. Sign into it with your Microsoft account that you use for work. So use your email address and use your password. Good chance that it's going to, pop up, and you'll need to use your multi-factor authentication to say, yeah, that's me. And once it does that, you will see that you can access certain apps, and it will help you with certain things. Like most tenants, I've made sure that you guys have like your newest version of Windows 10, newest version of Edge for Windows 10. And you've got which is nice because it can kind of do the single sign-on straight through all of your stuff. Also, Office, so you can just click on Office. You can do your Office install, so it'll use your business account to do your Office install, and that's an easy way to get on there and make sure that you're able to work with your stuff. If you guys run into trouble with Windows 10, or if you just want to simplify your life, One of the easiest things to do is to open up your Windows 10 settings, jump into your accounts, and click Access from Work or School, and make sure that you can connect to your work or school account. So just click on Connect and bang in your email address that you use for work, and that'll give you not a full Azure AD join. That'll do like a workplace join. So that way you can kind of access your data without necessarily having the whole computer be joined and forced into being controlled by the Microsoft tenant. So you can kind of keep it and keep doing what you want to do with it, but still access data. So that's pretty much my tips that I have for working with Teams and some of the Microsoft tenant stuff. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. We're always around. If you guys are running into any kind of trouble with, how do we keep fulfilling our objectives while we're all dispersed? That's something that we've worked with here at Geek Out Technologies for years. It's something that we've been working for years in our social enterprises that we own as well. So feel free to ask. If you're thinking, well, let's get this new software. This new software here or there might help. We can help you integrate that in with your larger Teams tenant, things like that. Sometimes we can make your life quite a bit easier if you just check with us first as you kind of go. And we're always happy to do that. So just let us know any way that we can help, and we're always happy to do that. So stay safe out there and have a good day.